We got a much needed eye test happening right now in Dame's world. Two of the most dominant centers in the league today, in my opinion. Two of the best centers in the league today, in my opinion. Joel Embiid versus Nikola Jokic. Jokic, however you want to call it, the Joker. Both of them in 2021, we in April right now, been dominating the season well enough to be considered for the MVP. Both players, Embiid, if not for injury, in my opinion, probably top candidate, and Joker, consistent throughout, is another top candidate. But the question is, who is the better center and better basketball player? It's your boy Dame. Subscribe to Dame's World if you haven't. We got content ranging from eye tests to breaking down bars, to real talks, to adages, aphorisms, to things that I created that may spark your interest. But right now, we in the eye test realm. I have a point system. For those who don't know, I do these eye tests because a lot of motherfuckers, the Nick Wrights of the world, run to stats. Max Kellerman run to stats without using the eyes of the beholder. We got these things to discern. But also in Dame's world, we have the eye test, but we also have to not fully be biased to just what we see. We need a metric, a scale. So I created a point system to go alongside this eye test to even give myself a little bit more objectivity in the rating or the rankings. You feel me? So with that being said, we're going to get right into this Embiid versus Jokic debate. We got a Mavericks or Nuggets Sixers game. It's a random game, not Embiid and Jokic highlights solely, but they're going to be in this bitch a lot. And we're just going to break down category by category, in my opinion, who's the better player. So, out the gate, scoring. In my system, scoring is worth 5 points. One of the rare categories worth 5 because it means a lot. This game is about buckets. As you see, Joel get a bucket right now on Jokic. But scoring for Joker, I have at a 3.9 out of 5. That's a B+. Why? Joker has improved his scoring vastly this year. But predominantly, he's a playmaking big, like a point forward, so to say. As you see him do the pick and try to create. More frequently, you'll find him at the top of the key creating for others and then using himself as a second option. But 3.9 B+ because he has a means of scoring. When his back is to the basket, he has a decent fadeaway. He kind of has a Marc Gasol type offensive game to where it's bruising and finesse at the same time. Not too like a mid-tier skill level, meaning he has good footwork and solid moves, but he doesn't have a plethora of moves to just evade his defender at will. So I don't have him at the A+ score, but I do have him at a B+, 3.9 out of 5. Joel Embiid, however, gets the 5 out of 5. And mind you, when it comes to centers, there's a different standard when I do this metric than when I do guards. I'm not going to base ball handling, or I'm not going to rate Joel Embiid's ball handle on the same metric as I would a Chris Paul, because different fields, you know what I'm saying? He's not supposed to be a crazy ball handler. But scoring for bigs, Joel Embiid is the standard right now, and shit, in history, you talk about Dream, Shaq, him, Duncan, as far as scoring. So it's a few 5-level scorers, and Embiid is one of them. He has every single move in his bag, perimeter and inside. He's very strong, so he can just get a Shaq-type bucket and dunk on your shit. And he's very finesse, and his key is that triple threat, that jab step, that up fake, in which seemingly nobody in the league has been able to stop. You're going to see it right here. There go the up fake, there go the jab. I ain't even know what was coming next. But Joel Embiid gets a 5. So Joel Embiid wins that category. Shooting. I have shooting at a tie. Nice pass. The reason why I have shooting at a tie, because Joker is always a constant 80+ free throw shooter. So he's a better free throw shooter than Embiid. Embiid is at 85% now, but he's usually like high 70s. Joker's 3 and Embiid's 3 is very close. I want to say Joker takes more uncontested, wide open threes, so his percentage might be a little bit higher. But as far as shooting from the corners, the side, and the top of the key, Joker's more of a top of the key 3-point shooter. Embiid has a wider variety. So I think they're pretty even with threes. And then mid-range, I have clearly Embiid. Joker has a decent mid-range, no doubt, but Embiid, that's one of his staples. Once he utilizes that jab step and you back off from 15 feet, he's just going to hit that bucket. So I had them even, 3.7 out of 4. Shooting was worth 4. They both had a 3.7 tie in that category. Passing is out of 4. Joel Embiid gets a 3 out of 4 in passing. He's a C average passer, meaning he's decent, but he's not excellent. Sometimes when the double team collapses on him, you might find him struggling a little more often than not. In the playoffs, you see that to be one of the more problematic things in this game. When the defense collapses, he has trouble. Whereas Joker is a natural born passer. I hope he makes me look good right now. There it goes. 4 out of 4. As far as bigs, you don't get no better passing than Joker. We know the dynamic of him just keeping his head up, being at the top of the key and creating for others, throwing dimes. That European style of play is one that puts a higher emphasis on passing, and Joker is just an anecdote in which you can tell. So 4 out of 4 for Joker. Perfect passer rating for Joker. Nice pass again from Embiid. Embiid is a good passer too. It's just when that double comes and he's not looking to pass first. He's always looking to get a bucket. IQ. Joel Embiid's IQ out of 4 is a 3.9, meaning his IQ is almost as high as it gets. I think what you guys will know in Dame's world, I always give these stars high IQs because when you look from a play-to-play basis, they're where they need to be. They do often make the right mathematical play, especially for who Joel Embiid is as a scorer. He should shoot more. For who Joker is as a passer, he should make that pass or he should yap that up. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these basketball players have very high IQs. You don't even make it to this realm with a low IQ, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Even Russell Westbrook, in which y'all might not agree, has a decent basketball IQ. He's just very forceful. So his shit is consequently a little bit lower. But 3.9 Embiid and 4.0 Joker. Joker, perfect IQ. Embiid, damn near. The only difference I would say is Embiid's emotional control sometimes gets out of hand to where he'll get in a fight or an argument, something unnecessary that won't be in the realm of basketball that could deter or stagnate the team. So Joker gets that category of IQ. Defense, this is a no-brainer. Joel Embiid's defense for a big, I gave it a 5 out of 5. I don't see any big being a better defender than him now. People may argue Rudy Gobert, but Rudy Gobert only plays defense and only rebounds. He has no responsibility on offense. So he gets to exert all of his energy on the defensive end. So I need y'all in Dame's world to imagine if Embiid had that privilege on defense, to not have to play offense. You would see a maniac on defense. Embiid, an excellent shot blocker with both hands. Embiid slides his feet very well. And for a big, neither of them are good on perimeter, but I'm not finna judge their defense on perimeter. As a center, your goal is to protect the paint. And Embiid is a high-level protector of the paint. I have him at a 5.0. Joker, however, I got him at a 2.5. Half of that. Fail. He's not a good big defender. He knows where to be. He just doesn't have the athleticism nor the will, I want to say, to just want to be a great defender. A lot of being a great defender is telling yourself he ain't scoring on me. This little motherfucker is not finna just tower over me. Jokic, you find him standing up or you find him with his hands up and defenders can just get a body on him and get a bucket on him. Often. I've seen it way too often. So 2.5 and Embiid gets the 5. Clear distinction Embiid. Ball handle. Let me bring it back. We're going to bring the video back a couple times because we got a lot of shit to say. So ball handle out of 4, again, relative to centers. We're not comparing his ball handle to Kyrie Irving's. So Kyrie's 4 is not an Embiid's 4. You know what I'm saying? So ball handle out of 4, I have Joel Embiid at a 3.9. He can take it up the court if you let him. He has a decent hezzy, a decent array of moves between the legs, a step back, a crossover. He has a package that I've never seen from a 7-footer with that much girth. I've seen Kevin Durant with a package like his, but Embiid is like a true blue big ass nigga. You feel me? And with that handles, I've never seen it before. So I gave him a 3.9. I guess the only thing higher in his position would be a nigga like Kevin Durant cheating, being 7 foot, playing center. But Embiid is as good as it gets with the ball handle as far as a big. So 3.9, and I had Joker at a 3.0. Decent ball handler, high dribbler, not nearly as skilled when it comes to handling the ball as Embiid, but he can, do a pump fake, a up fake, get to the rack. He's not sloppy with his handle for a big. Decent ball handler. I have him at a 3 out of 4. Finishing at the rim. Joel Embiid again, 3.9 out of 4. Almost perfect. The only thing that doesn't make it perfect is both of these players' left hand isn't that efficient. Embiid uses his more. If you watch Jokic, he tuck his in his pocket. He don't never use that motherfucker. But that would be why I didn't give Embiid a perfect finishing ranking, because you will have to finish with the left to be the standard, in my opinion. But as far as powering up over people, up and under layups, Euro step, finishing at the rim, touch, Joel Embiid has all that in a bag of chips. So 3.9. Joker, I have at a 3.5. Joker is not likely to tower over you and dunk on your shit. Not athletic to do that. And he's right hand dominant as well, but he does have decent touch with his floater and his layup game when he gets there. So a C average, or 3.5 is a B average. Now, driving at the rim. Both of them, have a deceptive nature when they're at the perimeter. Embiid with an up fake, Embiid with an up fake, Joker with an up fake. So they can drive to the rim. I had Embiid at a 3 out of 4, and I had Joker at a 2.8, simply because, nice block. Embiid has better ways to create in the perimeter. Like I said, he has a decent ball handle to where he can just isolate you at the top of the key. Whereas Joker is more likely just going to use that up fake or do a pick and roll and do a direct line to the rack. So Embiid winning that category. Post play, out of 4, Joker's post play is 3.5. He's decent. Like I said, he reminds me of a Marc Gasol, where he's strong and finesse. He's like an 85 at both. 85 strength, 85 finesse. You feel me? Which makes him a 3.5 out of 4. Not the best post player in the game. Who is? Joel Embiid. Gets a 4 out of 4. You talk about the fadeaway. You talk about the bolstering to the rack. You talk about the footwork. You talk about face up in the post. Joel Embiid, other than Dream, and might be even more than Dream, has the most varied skill set I've ever seen in the post. As you see right there, nice swing through layup. So Joel has a 4 out of 4 in my opinion. Athleticism. This one was tough because gauging them as bigs, they're both slow as shit and they both don't get too high off the ground. But Joel Embiid clearly gets higher off the ground than Jokic, and I believe is more quicker from my discernment. Is when you see that jab step, that blazing jab step, it looks like an athletic move, whereas Jokic is always trotting. You feel me? Always struggling to get to where he needs to get to. So I had and athleticism is a 5-point category because somebody can sheerly dominate off athleticism, i.e. Shaq, i.e. LeBron James. I had 4 out of 5 for Embiid, so a B or an A minus, and then I had 3.4 out of 5 for Joker, which is like a B minus, I believe. Transition out of 4, both 2.5 out of 4, average C, meaning they both are decent. They both can even dribble up the court if you allow them, but they're half-court set players. They're not willing to just get out in the break. They would rather set it down or they would rather slow it down and set it up. So 2.5 even. Rebounding, Out of 4, I gave Joker a 3.8 out of 4. Knows where to be, great positioning. Always boxes out, which is something that's a lost art in this game. Joker is a fundamentally sound rebounder. And he's very sneaky on the offensive end where he's getting tips and just little sneaky shit because he know where to be. His IQ is so high. I had Embiid at a 3.9 because he's of the same nature, just a little bit more physical down there than Joker, to where the pushback, the resistance is more met with Embiid offensively and defensively. So I have him at slightly a higher 3.9. If anything, Joker might be a better offensive rebounder with the tips. But 3.9, 3.8. Isolation. I had Jokic 2.8 out of 4. So a C. Meaning he's not really an ISO player. He's a pick and roll player, pick and pop player. He creates, facilitates at the top of the key or in that mid area. And isolation, if you got a weakling on him, he gonna dominate you for sure. He has that strength to where he'll dominate a weaker opponent. And if you are dim-witted, he'll hit you with one of them Pau Gasol spins or something clever. He does have a decent array of moves as well, you feel me? Just not at the extent of Embiid. Which Embiid, I gave a 4 out of 4 isolation. Mainly because that face-up game is indefensible in my opinion. And if you're I think that's Plumlee, he's gonna face up and dog you out all day. His jab step is brilliant. He has probably the best triple threat in my opinion in the league, I want to say. And if you're too small, he's just gonna back you down. So there's no way one-on-one you can guard Joel Embiid. I see him as the standard, so I had him at an easy 4 out of 4. While I had Joker at a 2.8. So easy Embiid category right there. Off ball, I gave Embiid a 3. I mean, spotting up, knowing where to be off ball. He's not ignorant to the nature of the game, but he's not an off ball player. Joker, I gave a 4 because being a pick and pop player is predominantly off ball. So when he sets a pick, he always finds that sweet spot. It's usually the top of the key and they keep leaving this nigga open and yop it up. But he always finds a way to space out the defense and make something happen when he doesn't have the ball, to where they kick it to him and it's money, or they collapse on him and Jamal Murray can get an easy bucket. I'm sure they're going to, oh no, that's not off ball, just a dime. Thought the universe was going to bless me again, but so off ball, I gave that to Jokic. Nice shot by Tobias. Offhand, I gave to Joel Embiid 3 out of 4. Nice. And I gave Joker 2 out of 4. So a fail with the left. I rarely see Joker use his left hand. And I gave Embiid 3 out of 4, which is a C, because I just see him use it more often. But he's not a great left hand player either. Another note in Dame's world, not a lot of people are Kyrie Irving or Kobe Bryant, just where their left hand looks almost similar to their right, aside from shooting. I think that's something, if you're a new player in the league, it's something you might want to learn. It's something you might want to develop, because if you get that, both hands at an early age, that's so advantageous for you that you're going to be dominant over everybody you play if you're 12 years old. So offhand, I gave Embiid 3-2. Crossover. Now, I had to switch this up for bigs. Instead of crossover, I had to change it to shifty. Shifty nature. How they can evade and deceive, because they're not crossing people, but they're doing jab steps. They're doing post moves, being deceptive. So that shiftiness is going to be my big variation of crossover. Shiftiness. I don't even know if that's a word, but in Dame's world it is, nigga. I gave Joker a 3 out of 4. He's shifty with his back to the basket. Like I said, them Pau Gasol spins and that elusive nature when a lesser IQ heavy opponent is on him. Joker has that. I gave him a 3 out of 4. C. I gave Embiid a 3.7 out of 4. Because when he's in face-up mode, he's very deceptive with that jab. He can fake you right, go left. He can fake you right, hezzy like he going left and still go right. And he's very evasive when it comes to just doing up and unders, having footwork in the post. Very shifty big. One of the most shifty bigs I've seen. So 3.7 out of 4. Triple threat, Embiid 4. I've been talking about it all day. Him and KD probably got the best triple threat in the league. 4 out of 4. When he's face up, he's going to give you that mid-range about 70% of the time. If not, he's going to give you a jab that'll make him back up. And if you come up, he's going to blow by you. He's quick like that. His triple threat, to me, is the best part of his offensive game, even better than the post, because at that point, there's nothing you can do with him. Triple threat leaves you with the most options. You can even go back to the post from triple threat. While Joker gets a 3.3, Joker's triple threat is more based to pass. Again, you could drive, shoot, pass. Joker's triple threat is to pass. Embiid's triple threat is to score. But Joker is very deadly with the triple threat because you got cutters diving off that pick. Might use his booty to, you feel me, evade a defender type shit on the face up. But Embiid, he does that. And there's no guarding that. So, triple threat I gave to Embiid. Killer instinct. Out of 4, I gave Embiid 3. I feel like I've seen it before, especially this year. He's turned it up. But in the playoffs, I can't give him that A-B treatment because I've seen him go silent and I've seen him not be assertive in moments where I felt he should have been assertive. Maybe he's fatigued or something like that because I think he does have killer instinct. I just have to see it manifest more for it to go higher. 3 out of 4. Joker, 3.8 out of 4. Joker is what I call a silent assassin. He's constantly trying to win. You can tell by the plays he's doing consistently, and when he needs to be aggressive, he'll get aggressive. And in the playoffs against the Jazz and his whole run, I seen him hit big shot after big shot, consistently be there. You feel me? So I gave him 3.8 in killer instinct, beating Embiid out. Overall skill, Joker's a 4.2. He can pass. He can get his own bucket. His pick and roll is very decent. He knows where to be on defense. He's just not a good defender. So his skill on defense is not lack thereof. Like, he knows how to slide. He knows how to bump. I just think that will to play defense and that lack of athleticism just makes him not a good defender. But as far as the skill set, he's not lacking in skill. So 4.2 out of 5. Skill is another 5-point category. And let me just refresh y'all's memory. Scoring, defense, and skill are my only 5-point categories. So skill, Embiid, 5 out of 5. Dream, Embiid, most skilled bigs ever. Short list. Nobody else. Centers for sure. Duncan a PF. Dirk, KG, PFs. But centers, I've never seen centers handle the ball the way Joel Embiid has, from the perimeter and from the inside. So his skill is a 5, unquestionable in Dame's world. Sustainability, Joker a 4. I haven't seen him down and injured, so he gets the A for sustainability. He has the game that's a ground game, so you don't expect him to get injured from doing nothing freakish. Embiid, 2.2 out of 4. We know he's injury prone. We had to trust the process before we got to see this greatness. And this year, he kind of took himself out of the MVP race by missing like 10 games in a critical moment. So his sustainability is in the air right now. You know what I'm saying? He has load management. So D-F sustainability for Joel Embiid, while Joker get a perfect score. Clutch, 2.9 out of 4 for Embiid. And clutch is different from killer instinct. Killer instinct is a mind state. Clutch is the manifestation of that mind state. You have to put the bucket or the ball in the hoop in order to be deemed clutch. You have to make clutch plays regardless of how your mind state is. So Embiid is 2.9 out of 4. He has clutch moments regular season. He can get it up. I think he will get it up this year. I think that category will improve after this playoffs for me, but I have to see it to believe it. Whereas Joker, 3.5 out of 4. I seen it and I now believe it. His playoff run showed me that when it matters, he's not going to dwindle away. He's going to be there. He's going to be as consistent as a motherfucking river flowing through the now. You feel me? So clutch, Joker. Hustle, they both got a 2 out of 3. None of them gonna dive on the floor, big ass niggas. They ain't known for they hustle. I wouldn't call them lazy, because they, especially Embiid, he might look lazy, you feel me, because he's so big, but he be out there on defense. But none of them is hustling, diving on the floor, being extra. So 2 out of 3. Again, this is a 3 category. Some categories are worth lesser. Grit. Joker, 2 out of 3. He don't talk shit, so that to me comes with grit, but he will bang with you. He will get dirty, so he does have some grit, but on defense, he does lack. I think he's more of a banger on offense when he's posting in than he is on defense. So he could get his grit up, while Embiid's grit is 3. Embiid is that big physical player, offense and defense, and he talking shit. So that nature of grit, Embiid is one of the people who exemplifies it. I gave him a 3 out of 3. Team player, 2.8 out of 3 for Embiid. I think he is a decent team player. The only reason why I didn't give him the standard, for 2 reasons. He's ball dominant, and some teammates may not prefer that. When you're a scorer, that usually happens, score first player. So I think the pass first player is better to play with, which is Joker consequently. I gave him a 3 out of 3. But Embiid, just being a scorer first and that shit talk he do. Some team players might be like, hey man, cut all that shit out. We don't want to hear that. So there's a couple notches down for Embiid from the team player. And then last, coachability, 2.8 out of 3. Embiid is decent at that. I feel like he can be coached. I don't think he's uncoachable. But when you have that character that Embiid has, it can be a thorn in the side for a coach. So I didn't give him a perfect score, where I gave Joker yet again another perfect score. Mind you, I'm not in these locker rooms. I'm not privy to how they act around their players and coaches to really know. So it's an outside looking in type category. But I gave Joker the 3. And then we'll bring it back, because now that's the 25 categories. So we compile all of those categories to ask ourselves and rate them with a score overall. So out of 100, Joker rated at 81.2. Mind you, nobody's going to get 100, so we got to respect the curve. Right now, Kobe was the highest in Dame's World at a 95. So the curve might be 95 right now till I do Jordan. Jordan will be higher than Kobe, in my opinion. So 81.2 out of 95, essentially, as far as best hoopers in which I've seen. 81 out of 95, but 81 out of 100 holistically. He gets at 81.2. While Joel Embiid's calculates to 87.2. A 6-point distinction. So in Dame's World, and even in my eye test, I think it's evident to me who's the better basketball player. Joel Embiid has the potential to be one of the greatest players in history. Nikola Jokic has potential to be one of the best centers of today. You feel me? I don't think even in the historical sense, well, you know, maybe he'll go down in the historical sense, but potentially, I feel like he already hit his cap. While Joel Embiid can be a 35 and 15 type player, given the circumstance. This year, I feel like we've seen 30 and 10 consistently. I just feel like he's on another level. He's on the superstar level, and Jokic is on the all-star level. We got to know the difference. I think it's about 5 superstars out there, though. It's about Bron, KD, Luka, Embiid. Bron, KD, Luka, Embiid, and probably Chef. Them 5 superstars. Rest of them niggas, no disrespect. I love Kyrie. I love Harden. But it's something to their game to where I wouldn't classify them as super top 5 on the planet. But that's just me. Let me know your thoughts in your comments. I have Joker losing this one. Embiid being a better player by 7 or 6 points. Out of 25 categories, I'll count them for y'all right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I had Embiid winning 14 categories. I had them tying on 1, 2, 3. I had them tying on 3. So winning 14, Embiid, tying on 3, meaning Joker got 8 categories for himself. So he did pretty well. But I got Joel Embiid, however you slice it. Let me know your thoughts in your comments. Who's the better center? I'm taking Joel any day of the week. It's your boy Dane.